What's happening, people? Welcome to the United Stand at 8 o'clock Sunday night show. Hold tight, everyone who was expecting to see a Mark Goldbridge in the top left-hand corner. No, it's not Mark. I've given him the night off in the heavyweight for today's. Big up to the guests, Ricky, Said, and Adam. How you guys all doing?
Good, mate.
Hi, mate. Really good.
Yeah, man. All good, all good.
I'm actually glad to host one of these, actually, because I've been tuning into you guys on a Sunday and seeing the difference in opinions and some of the topics. It's a really nice dynamic. So I'm glad. Thanks for having me on, guys, actually.
Yeah, you're welcome, mate. You're welcome.
You guys, smash a like on the video. You guys know what it is. It's Sunday night, 8 p.m. style. Van der Beek or Grealish? Let's get straight into it. The reports that have been coming out from the Evening Standard as well. A few credible sources sort of saying that Man United are kind of looking at Van der Beek now. The feeling was that Van der Beek would probably go to Real Madrid. You've got Real Madrid who wanted Pogba, but it doesn't look like that move's going to happen. So the feeling is that they would probably go for Van der Beek now. But now we're getting a few reports that sort of suggesting that United could be in for Van der Beek. Ricky, I'll start with you. Are you bothered about that? Do we go for Van der Beek instead of Grealish? Do you not care about either because it looks like we might keep Pogba? Where do you stand on it?
What I saw of Van der Beek when I was watching the Champions League games last season, he looks a great player to me. I like to, when I'm making a decision on a player, I like to watch him and concentrate. Obviously, when I watched those games, I wasn't concentrating solely on him. But what I did see of him, he looked fantastic. So from what I've seen, I'd be over the moon if we signed Van der Beek.
Would you want him over Jack Grealish?
How you'd fit him in the team is another question, because we seem to be top heavy with midfield players, especially if Pogba's not leaving. So I don't know how you'd fit him in the team, but he did look a great player. So I wouldn't complain about us going for him and then cross that bridge when you come to it. What could happen to it? Could upset the apple cart a little bit as well. You cannot. Some people think you can't have too many good players, but you can have too many good players, because it can cause ructions in the camp, certain players not getting enough games, and it could bring sort of mood down if you know what I mean. Yeah. So it's possible to have too many good players, but just on the face of it, for what I've seen of him as a player, I'd be happy for him to go for him. Yeah.
Over Grealish?
I think so. Yeah.
What makes you say over Grealish?
Well, like I say, I've not concentrated so much on him directly, but I did see a player who was quick to release the ball, quick to make himself available for the ball. I don't think I saw him making bad decisions. It just looked a really, really top player to me. Grealish, what I see of Grealish, I see some good goals. I've not been as impressed with Grealish's passing as I have been with Van der Beek's when I saw Van der Beek playing for Ajax. Van der Beek playing for Ajax, to me, like I say, I'd love to sit down and just watch a game and concentrate directly on him. I haven't done that, but what I did see, he looked top class.
Okay, just before I go to Said and Adam, contribution here. Thanks for the super chat from Prodigy. It says 35 million for Van der Beek is a bargain. Fabrizio confirmed we are interested on United report. Got a strong feeling we'll sign him. Interesting there. Said, where do you stand on this?
I'm not going to lie to you. I like Van der Beek. He's a very, very good player, very, very intelligent player. I think Man United lack intelligent players. Some players that can almost take comfort positions. You know what I mean? He's a number 6. He's a number 8. He can be a number 10. I think he's versatile. He's a box-to-box midfielder. I think that's what Man United. I think they've got a few box-to-box midfielders. They've got Paul Pogba, McTominay. I think could they do another one? Yes, but I don't know, man. Somebody's telling me I'd rather go with Grealish, and the reason why I'm fancying Grealish is because I want a star factor. I want someone that can take me edge of my seat. Does Van der Beek take me on the edge of my seat? Not for me. I think Grealish takes me off the edge of my seat. He gives me something different. He can play on the left. He can play on the right for me. He can play in a forward role. He can play almost a second striker if you want him to. So for me, there's more advantages for Grealish than I would Van der Beek. Van der Beek, don't get me wrong, is a wonderful player, but I look at the Holland League. I look at, was it a cameo against in the Champions League? Was it? I look at the Ajax, the Dutch league. Is it the greatest league in the world? I think Grealish has proved it for the last 4 or 5 years that he's got the level that we're talking of. So for me, I don't know. 40 million is an absolute bargain, by the way. Don't get me wrong. There's someone was telling me about, like, in terms of, like, people coming off the bench. So imagine you had Bruno Fernandes coming off the bench, getting subbed off for what reason I don't know. Because you know, you would have subbed off Bruno Fernandes, wouldn't you? But just imagine you had someone to come off the bench, and I'm looking at Pereira and Lingard. I'm like, nah, I don't want him to come off the bench. I'd rather him stay on the pitch. But if you got Van der Beek coming, I'd be like, you know what, something different. But for me, what I'm looking at, and I'm thinking, Grealish for me. Grealish would be the one where I'm thinking, yeah, come off, give me that wild factor. That goal at Old Trafford, I'll never forget that, mate. I was looking at it thinking, what's this guy doing? He's going to the left-hand side, yeah? No one's trying to get the ball off him. They get a flat-footed, no chance. And that will, for me, if you can have someone... When was the last time a player scored outside the box from United? For me, it was Danny.
So do you want to sign Jay Rodriguez because he scored an absolute stunner for Burnley then?
No, it's not what I mean. But what I'm trying to say is I want a star player, star quality. Man United have lacked a star quality. We've got that in Bruno Fernandes. We've got that in Paul Pogba. Grealish could give you that. So for me, I'm Grealish over what's the other guy called? On
that note, I think we hear what Saeed's saying. Adam, just before I come to you, another contribution here. Van der Beek will be cheaper and better than Grealish. Van der Sar just confirmed we're in for Van der Beek. Van der Beek is world class off the ball, very versatile. So disagreeing with what you said there. So where do you stand on this, Adam?
I'm just loving the way Saeed's calling Grealish. He's making me hungry.
What is? What's Grealish?
Yeah.
What's the Grealish?
He spells it G-I-R-L-L, G-R-I.
Yeah. No, you know what? I hear Saeed's shout. I mean, I like the arrogance of Jack Grealish. It comes down to what type of player you actually like. You know what? I like the arrogance of him. I like the way he can carry a team. Ricky picked up on his passing there. I mean, to be honest, if I was in the Dutch league with them players around there who are brought up passing in Dutch football as young kids, then I think Van der Beek's numbers would probably be as good as anybody's if they were in that same team. Grealish in the Championship with the standard of players around him probably brings his stats down a little bit. But I mean, Grealish, what's he got? He's got like 70 odd goals and assists combined in like 170 games, and then you'd say, oh, that's good, but it's Championship. He's had one season in the Premier League, and he has carried Villa all season. I think the Grealish deal comes down to more, I think, if we don't get the Sancho deal signed up. I think that rolls into that one for me. I think the Van der Beek one, because of his price tag, I think he's a bonus. A real bonus in terms of the transfer market. I mean, he is good. He's very, very clever. That oozes out of him straight away, and it stands out a mile. Like Ricky said, then I do agree with that. It does look like he's thinking 2 or 3 passes ahead, and that is a rare commodity in a player. Can he do it on the pressure cooker stage? Well, the pressure cooker stage, we don't know is when he's coming back, because we could be signing players for next season behind closed doors for another season yet. So we don't know. We just don't know. But am I looking at what we've got right now and Grealish or Van der Beek better than what we've got? Depending, like you said, like Ricky said, where did he start? Where did he play? Because we've got players who are improving all the time. We've already got creativity in Pogba and Bruno. Where did he start? I do not know. They'd have to accept that coming to a top 4 team in the Premier League, they're going to get bench time. It's as simple as that, and that goes with the territory.
Yeah.
Van der Beek at his price, I think, starts to move into United's radar more and more. And the fact that I think the people in the comments have said Van der Sar's come out and said something. I think Romano's come out and said something. So there is interest there. Does that mean that something's gone haywire elsewhere? And I hope it's not Sancho, because what I've been hearing about Sancho is the Germans and German press, after speaking to people at Dortmund, they're chilled out. They're in no rush to get rid of Sancho. He can go this summer, but they go for the price that they want, or they're just going to sit back in their armchairs there and not do it at all. I think that plays a massive part in what's about to happen. But I like Grealish. I'm not going to lie. I just like his arrogance and that style of player. He reminds me a little bit of a Lee Sharp sort of arrogance. It just in that way, the cocky English guy. And I think he would add to us. He would, but he'd be adding to a big squad. He's not adding to guaranteed first team.
He would. I do. I think where we're at now is if we make additions in that sort of attacking midfield area, a creative player in a central position, I think we are looking at that powerful squad depth aspect. I think we're starting to step into that territory because, you look at players at City, when they go there, are they guaranteed to start with the squad they got now? No. And what they've built is people coming on, like what Saeed said, 75th minute, Bruno comes off and someone of the tactical nous and brilliance of Van der Beek comes on, or Grealish comes on. That's the type of depth that you want. And I think it's whether or not these players at this stage of their career are willing to accept that. Grealish leaving Aston Villa right now is going to be a very, very big move for him this summer because the Euros are going to be the following year. He's going to want to get into that team, and he's kind of earned his stripes in terms of being able to get regular football. Will he might think, I tell you what, I'm better off going to Tottenham for my career, or Liverpool might get rid of someone, I'm better off going there or something. It all depends on these type of factors. But I agree with Ricky though. Van der Beek is, well, all of you guys have said it, very, very clever player, very technical player. Yes, the Dutch league and the consistency of it or the level of it could be questioned. But, when you see a good player on the ball, a good player, similar to Brandt at Dortmund as well. You can say the same sort of thing about the league and stuff, but you can see he's got something and he's a quality player. So, yeah, be interesting. It does feed into what you said as well, though, I think, Adam, in terms of it will show where our shift or focus is in the transfer window. If we're going to keep Pogba, which it looks like we will, then you've got your Brunos and we're going after the Sancho. Are we going to land another big signing of big money?
I think one, mate. I think
but he's only 30, 40 million. So we'll see on that. A lot of people kind of saying they prefer Grealish. A lot of people in the comments also saying Van der Beek. So it's quite split. Another contribution here. This is from Name Unknown. Sorry, Ricky, we have too many blocks, not enough good DMs and attacking mid. So I would sell Lingard, Mata, Matic, Pereira, Fred, and buy Grealish, Ndidi,
Fred,
Van der Beek.
What? Fred?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Did that person just say we've not got enough DMs and I'd sell Matic?
Yeah.
We haven't got enough DMs.
No, we've not got enough. He said we've not got enough good ones. But we all know that Matic is a good defensive midfielder. We all can agree on that. The next bit, guys, I wanted to move on to is kind of the batch of games coming up now. We know that we're back, actually. Big up to everyone on the video as well. Over 4,000 watching, which is superb. Let's keep rising. Let's keep sharing. Smash a like on the video. Now, so Saeed, I'll start with you. Our first 3 games back, Tottenham, Sheffield United, Norwich. Now, in the context of a whole season and stuff, you might think, games aren't, or the season isn't just decided in 3 games. But after such a long layoff, it's all starting to become very real now. It's all right at the beginning saying, I can't wait for football back. They're not ready for Bruno. Oh, Rashford's back. No one's ready. Pogba. That's great. But everyone else is getting their players back as well. And Jose has had a long time to plan this revenge. He's going to be pumped up. Yes, it's behind closed doors, which could help us in the Tottenham stadium. We won't have their fans to contend with in their new stadium, which is a plus for us. But if we win all 3 of our first games versus if we don't win our first 3 games, if we say lose the first 2 league games, it could be catastrophic. Because if we beat Sheffield United and Spurs back to back, that's fantastic. You're looking at potentially a semi-final in the FA Cup and getting a foothold on that 4th. Hopefully Chelsea would have dropped some points in them 2 games too. Where do you stand on that side?
It's, I'm getting nervous now. Before I was like, football back. I'm like, yo, let's wait 1 more week. I just think it's crazy how you put it, because if you want a manager to play 1 game against someone, you pick, who do you pick? For me, I pick Mourinho. 1 game to say, you know what, I'm going to prepare for 1 game. That's why I'm saying to all United fans, I'm getting happy, it's an easy 3 points. I don't see it as an easy 3 points. I see it as a very tough game. You've got Kane coming back, fully fit and firing. You've got Son back, which for me is an absolute Achilles heel. He's always there trying to get you. You've got Bergwijn back. You've got the spine of that team back. You've got the defenses probably worked on in a training ground. And as much as we can talk about what we've got, I'm just looking at Tottenham and I'm thinking it's a very tough game. And I said it before last week on last week's show. I said it's all about technical football now. It's football versus football. It's not about crowd. It's not about counter-attacking football. It's about football-based football. And we've seen it by Leverkusen yesterday against Bayern Munich. Absolutely dismantled. You know what I mean? It just shows now when it's technical football, who's going to be better on the day. And that's what Man United have got to focus on a plan. But then you got Sheffield United. Sheffield United sit back. They sit back, hit us on a counter-back. You know what I mean? If they could put 11 men behind the ball, nobody have the crowd around you say, come on, United, push on, push on. They sit back, go for get a one goal over the top. You never know with that one. And then Norwich, I think it'll work itself out, but you never know with that one as well. I just look at if you get the first game, we win the first game, that will give absolute confidence to Man United to go on and just build up from there. But if you lose that first game, heads drop. You look around you, where's the leaders? Where's the mentality? You know what I mean? Then you look at the next game, you're thinking pressure, Sheffield United. I don't know. It's going to be very, very interesting for Ole how it brings the team tactically. What does he do with the formation? Who does he bring in? So it's a big game, man. And against Mourinho, I'm confident. I'm not now, man. I'm nervous now, man. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, you're not confident, though. You're more what? You're more on the unconfident.
I'm more of a draw, man. I'm more of a draw. I'll take a draw, mate.
Okay.
You know what? I'll take a freestyle performance. You know, anything, mate.
Okay.
I'll get a freestyle back.
Ricky, look, all teams have had a long time out. You know, it's kind of, if you look at it from the other side of what Saeed's saying in terms of Tottenham got this and this player back, that player back, tough game, Jose Mourinho, etc., etc. They've also been not played a lot of football for a long, long time, especially the likes of Kane and Son, longer than the other players have been playing. So we could be looking at, although it's a heavyweight clash for one of the first games, our first game back, there's a lot of ring rust. It could be maybe a slow-paced game, players trying to get their second wind, players trying to feel their way into the game. It could be the complete opposite of the excitement that we would associate with this fixture if it was being played under normal circumstances and a normal, fixture list, obviously before the pandemic. How do you see our start? I mean, do you think we're going to hit the ground running and be at it, or do you think there's going to be teething problems? It's like a mini league. It's like we've had a pre-season and we're coming back for a mini league of 9 games.
It is like a mini league, and when you talk about the fitness and will the players be ready for it, they have been. I know they would only social distance training. I think they called it in the first place, didn't they? But they've been back in training for at least a couple of weeks, and now a couple of weeks of contact training as well. So it is like a pre-season, and I know it would have only been very, very gentle, I suppose, but they had a game between themselves yesterday. I think a few clubs have had friendlies against other clubs, though, haven't they? So I've heard.
Yeah, Arsenal played against Charlton. I think there's quite.
I'll be surprised if we don't have a friendly or two beforehand. So
West Brom.
Yeah,
I think we should be. I think we should be ready, just more or less as we are at the beginning of any new season. So I don't see why it should. We don't sort of have these discussions like we played Chelsea on the opening day of this season. I don't think we were having discussions of will we be ready, will we be fit, will it be too slow and stuff like that. So I don't see why this should be much different, if at all. I really don't. On the subject of the players coming back, it's interesting that as United fans, we're fearing them being a touch stronger than they were before because they're going to have Kane and Son back in the side, who were both missing when obviously when we went into lockdown. Whereas we've got like Pogba and Rashford coming back, and I think there's a lot of discussion: are we going to actually include them in our team? Whereas we automatically assume they're going to include Kane and Son. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I think there's good reason for that as well. We were sort of flying really. We were on a good run of form, whereas Spurs weren't. Spurs will be over the moon, I think, to have Kane and Son back, and I think they will start. Whereas with our 2 players that are coming back, a lot of people will say, no, you're wrong, but they won't automatically get into the team, I don't think, because of the run of form that we were on. So they might have a bigger advantage having a couple of players back more so than we have.
Yeah, and Ollie's got to make that decision on. I've said it on shows before. It's great that Paul Pogba's back fit again, 100%, and we're all excited to see how he's going to link up with Bruno and stuff like that. But similar to what you say, Ricky, it is about balance, and Pogba's a fantastic player. For me, he's our best player when he's on form. But there's got to be a plan when Solskjaer brings him back in. He can't just say, right, you're back fit, Paul, go play. He's got to work on systems in training of how he's going to work with Bruno, whoever the third spot goes to, whether it's Fred, Matic or McTominay, how they fit in, and are they going to go over flat three maybe at the beginning? Maybe they're going to play over three, and then when we have possession, maybe one goes a bit more advanced, and then when we don't have the ball, they come back into an actual three. Who knows? Who knows? So we'll see. I mean, Adam, if we, I don't want to be too pessimistic here, but I'm just painting the picture because we had a little bit of positivity there. If we are to, say, lose the first 2 games, would that write off the top 4 for you?
It's going to be hard to get back to it. It really is. I don't expect us to lose the first 2 games. I think we're probably better shape than most teams. Yeah, everyone knows my reasons for that. I've talked about it before, but going on there, it all comes down to, if you put in 11 players on a pitch, on a training ground pitch, which is pretty much what it's going to be, then United can beat anyone in this league. The issue now is the teams that you just mentioned, then they're going up against. So what is it? Spurs, Sheffield United and Norwich. Be prepared to be playing against 3 fully on defensive teams. Anyone who thinks that Kane and Son are going to be running us ragged all game, we've got another thing coming. Jose Mourinho is going to give the ball to Manchester United, and he's going to utilise Kane and Son in the best way that Spurs team can. And that is on the counter-attack. We are going to be counter-attacked against. It's set up. Jose was the first one. Jose was the first one to suss out Louis van Gaal when we was on the great run, one of Louis van Gaal's best phases. He said the only way you beat Manchester United is by giving them the ball, because we didn't have the player to break teams down. I think we had about 70
now, though, Adam. Now we're on that. You know, you got your Brunos.
Yeah, that's different. You nailed it. Yeah, you nailed it. It's now how Ollie balances the players that we've got, because we have now got them players. It's all about how he fits the Pogba and the Bruno in the team, because I still think we're going to see both of them playing in the games. There's no way. I don't think Ollie's not going to. Yeah, maybe not. There's a case that it might not happen against Spurs straight away, but they are going to be playing together. It's as simple as that. There's no way that Pogba's going to be sat on the bench. Ollie's obviously banked everything on him already. He's already been out talking about Pogba being fully fit. He's talked about the amount of assists. Rashford scoring an hat-trick in the practice game yesterday. It was Pogba against Bruno. And it was just like, you know what I mean? I know what's coming, just by the way Ollie talked. Yeah, and you know what? I'm excited to see what happens. I'm confident that United will have more than enough to beat Spurs. I just think that we are in a better position. Vicky nailed it then. It came at the perfect time for Spurs, this lockdown, because from, I think, the start of February into the middle of March, they were spiraling out of control. The club is a mess. And people talk about Newcastle coming on strong. All they're going to do is replace Spurs, because Spurs, 175 million just borrowed by the bank. They need to hit the ground running. I just don't see how Spurs beat United unless we don't have the right plan. It's as simple as that. Sheffield United, like Saeed said, exactly the same. They are just going to sit. They're going to pressurise us when we get the ball in their half, and they are going to utilise our weakness, or what our weakness is. But like you said, going into this lockdown, we were the best team in the league, to a point behind Liverpool on form. So it's how he balances the squad with everyone fit now. Are you going to upset a couple of people because they were playing well and put the better players in? It's not always about the best players. It's about the best team, the one that fits the formation better. We have got more than enough to tear Tottenham apart and their aging backline. Let's not forget, that back line is no young spring chicken at Spurs. We have got a chance against them. They are not going to be as fit as what we are, I don't think. It's proven in the past how unfit Jose's teams have been. I'm just banking on him sitting deep and hitting us on the counter. He's gonna use his weapons that he's got. That's what we have to do. It's about tactics now. It's all football, mentality. And if we do go behind, we lose a couple of games, what happens? What are these players made of? And it could make or break Ollie in a way. Really could.
It could. It's going to be so important. I think, look, obviously we know that momentum is important. We know that momentum is key. And we're going to be looking for that from the off. If you flip it and we get 2 wins from those 2 games, all of a sudden, those are our 2 hardest games left. I think we've got Leicester last game of the season, which obviously will be a tough game, to be fair. But that in between that, we're playing a lot of teams that you think we should be on the receiving end of some positive results. So if we can get 2 positive results in that, put you confident, you know, to beat Norwich away, they'll be fighting for their lives and still believing they can stay up. So, you know, their priority is not going to be the quarterfinal of the FA Cup. But we'll have to see. I think again, just before we move on to the next topic, it was actually discussing that balance in midfield. You're assuming that, look, we need Pogba and Bruno to play to make things happen. But then you need that balance. And I'll throw it to Ricky first, actually, because I probably know what his answer is going to be. But I've been talking about it with a lot of friends as well. And I've made a decision as well, which I think might surprise a lot of people. Ricky, I'm just going to ask you, I'll just go straight with a player who, you know, we know is going to be. Is Matic actually the best person out of those 3 up for grabs? I know Sai's on screen. Just hear us out. Is Matic the best player to give balance if Bruno and Pogba are going to play together? Or could McTominay and Fred equally do that job?
It'd have to be Matic without a doubt. He's the only one who naturally stays in the position, which is, you know, it's a position. If you think about the way Carrick plays, you think about the way Busquets plays in Barcelona. They don't go running all over the field like McTominay does and like Fred does. You know, as your back 4 moves up the park and up and down the team moves up, if that's your back 4, you'd find Matic most of the game would be moving up and down, you know, 10 or 15 yards in front of the back 4. Doesn't go running over there and running over there. He's, you know, obviously occasionally you've got to move out of position if there's nobody there covering a ball, but he plays the position correctly. He's the only player who does. I nearly jumped in before when you said if Pogba and Bruno play, who's gonna complement them, who's gonna play as well. In my opinion, Matic is going to play, and it's who's going to play with him. He's that important for me. You know, the season was going nowhere till he came back into the team around Christmas. It was, I mean, there's been a bigger improvement again since Bruno came in. That improvement since Bruno came in would not have happened if Matic wasn't back in the side as well. Matic is keeping the back 4, covering the back 4, and keeping it tight. Successful teams are built on being tight and stopping the opposition, and then you have to work hard for your opportunities to attack. You have to work hard to have a flamboyant player in your team who might try. People like these players who try the long ball, try the tricky balls and a little bit of fancy flicks. That's no good if you've not got somebody keeping it tight at home. It really is.
Ricky, though, I don't think the problem was defensively, though. I think it was more attacking. So I don't think Matic has done anything to kind of almost say to me that, wow, he's the best defensive midfielder in the world. I think our problem was scoring goals and almost like attacking. That's why we've got Bruno Fernandes. So I think
it's like saying, and Ricky said, all Ricky's doing is just copying what I said last week with my team, aren't you, Ricky? That's what you're doing, mate. Because I backed Ricky on this. If you're going to play Pogba, if you're going to play Bruno, my team was one holding midfielder, Bruno in an 8 with Matic next to him in front of the back 4. Then Pogba in more advanced role. That link from Maguire, Matic, Bruno, Pogba feeding what we've got up front is a frightening prospect. But for me, I don't see Scott McTominay or Fred as holding midfielders. That's my issue with them. It's not I don't want them to play. I see Scott McTominay. He's got so much more to his game. We've seen the goals that Scott scored this season. He's a box to box. He has got an engine like no one else. Fred is you know what I mean? You could be talking Nicky Butts and Phil Neville's of this era in them 2 players. It's a big squad. We just talked about balance and strength in depth before. Fred and McTominay have a role to play. It's not always going to be in that first team, I'm afraid. Yeah. It really isn't. There is a player to come in and replace Matic in a year. We don't know who that's going to be. This is where the transfer window could come in. You know what? There's so many options open. But for me, the only CDM we've got is Matic in a way. Fred and Scott McTominay have got roles to play. But if I'm picking one to play a defensive midfielder, I'm putting Bruno next to Matic. That's where my angle is on it. That's the only way I think it sort of knits together for me. I think, like I said, He's just not putting Fred or Scott down. It's just at the moment we've got a lot of similar players, and that's what the problem is with United. So trying to thin the squad out and find the round pegs for the round holes.
I think it's all about the needs of the team, and like you said, like we're all saying about balance. I think it's whether the person who's most suited to play in that role of actually just be a protector, be a guard, have your first thought as being keeping us balanced. The person is Matic. I think the person is Matic. If
right now, because you've been in flex at City. That move he did at City.
If you're gonna have Bruno and Pogba, I think to give that balance, the instant person is Matic. But I'm not saying the other two can't do it. But what I'm saying is, if the other two in Fred or McTominay are gonna adopt a new role for them, because that's what it will be for them. It will be a new role halfway through a season with 9 games to go. Ollie might see that as maybe too much of a risk if he wants to. I think something would have to give. I think he either leaves Pogba out of it then for the beginning, and let's see how we go and does it as we were, and goes with Matic, McTominay, Fred. Sorry, Matic and McTominay and say Bruno, or Fred and McTominay and then Bruno, whatever, and see how we go, and then bring Pogba in slowly but surely for the first few games. But I do feel if Ollie doesn't get the reassurances through the training games and the training that he thinks that, okay, Scott's a young guy coming in and is starting to learn his role of a box-to-box midfielder, arriving late in the box, getting his shots off, then all of a sudden he's going to say to him in the short term, can you just do this for me and sit and hold? He might think, well, Scott's quite young. He's starting to home in on one position. Let's just keep him on the right track. Let's just keep him there. So let me take him out of the equation. He might say, Fred, okay, you can win the ball back. You're quite tenacious. You get us passing where you can, but you do like to move about a lot. You are very energetic. You are a bit more box to box. Again, he might see that as a risk. So it's all about Ollie's thinking. I think if one of those other two could convince him in that small space of time that they could adopt a new role, then maybe we could see Matic on the bench. But I think my instant thought, when I actually thought about it properly and thought, you know what, who's the best man for that specific job in these 9 games? I would argue it's Matic. I would argue that. What are you saying, Saeed?
I'm looking at it. I'm thinking we forgot about Fred, man. Fred has absolutely been colossus.
Absolutely, I don't disagree.
And just of nicking the ball. For me, what Ollie needs to try and find out is, in terms of the centre defensive mid, I think it gets loosely termed in terms of, you got Kante, you got Fernandinho. They're both defensive mids, but they can also play. And I think Fred is that person. He's almost like kind of a number 8, but he's also another person that can almost protect that back 4, keep roaming around. He's got the energy to go from there, side to side, and almost nitpick the ball. And what for me, Matic doesn't have is that mobility in terms of, when he gets the ball, can he take it out quick spaces and pass it into to Calder, Pogba, Bruno Fernandes. I think with Bruno Fernandes and Pogba, you can almost say to Fred, you know what, I'm going to give you this ball in this tight space. Can you be willing to pass it over to Wan-Bissaka? And I think Fred is the perfect person to do that. He's got the angle of the crosses, he's got the angle of the passes, and I feel like he's the kind of person for that Tottenham game, especially that Tottenham game. Imagine you've got Sissoko and Dembele. And Sissoko, is it Dembele? Yeah, you got that players in between there. Dembele, sorry. You got players in between there. They're very, very tiny, very, very quick. You got the energy of Fred to go and just cover the spaces. That's all we need. This idea of set defensive mid where you need to go and be the linchpin, go ahead of the ball. It's all about covering the spaces, covering the tracks, and then release the ball quick enough. Sometimes Matches does that well, and I agree with you guys. I agree with you. He's a very, very good holding midfielder. But for me, I want Fred to go. Just give it quickly. Like Witsel from Dortmund. Witsel from Dortmund, yeah, is an absolute ball machine in terms of just getting the ball and just giving it to Royce, giving it to Brand, and just releasing it quickly. That's all we need to do against Tottenham. Release the ball quickly, pass it to Bruno.
I think the second player after Matic, who I think Fred could do it. I think Fred, could do it. I just don't know if he's more suited to that specific role with Pogba playing. Ewan just made a decent comment here. He says, if anything, Pogba would be the biggest risk, according to Flex's logic, because we don't know what type of Pogba we're getting. Now, I agree with that to a certain extent in terms of, I had this conversation with a friend. He said to me, Bruno would run for Pogba, but would Pogba run for Bruno? And that made me kind of think about it in terms of the running. Now, look, Ollie, we all know Pogba's positives and what he can bring to the team. And we all kind of got the feeling that Ollie wants to bring him back in. almost instantly. Maybe he might not, but that's the feeling I get anyway. But I think if he does that, I feel like Ollie would understand that would come at a price. That would come at a price. And he might have to go to look at his team and say, right, to compensate for that price, I then need to have somebody like Matic or change the role of Fred or McTominay and have them play differently to accommodate Pogba. Rick?
I think get to the first part of what you were saying there. I think Pogba is going to be bang up for it. I really do. Yeah. I don't think he's going to be. I think we're going to get Pogba. If Pogba was in this game against Spurs, I think we'll get the Pogba that we all like to see. It doesn't necessarily mean I think he's going to play him, because he's going to be thinking about the balance of the team. Now, we've been discussing whether it should be Fred or Matic, or whether it should be McTominay or Matic or Fred. But, you know, the three midfield players that were playing and did well against City and did well against Chelsea are Fred and Matic and Bruno. So there's all three players there. You know, when you're talking about bringing Pogba in, it could be for any one of them. He's not going to drop Bruno, but for me, Bruno and Pogba are the two creative sparks. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. It's a really difficult balancing act. I agree with Saeed that Fred doesn't deserve to be dropped. I agree wholeheartedly. But he's a different style of player to Matic. When I say energetic, it's not that Matic energy, but his whole game is about his energy. His whole game is about putting fires out all over the field. You know, it's not what you want somebody to be doing if you want a player to protect your back four. You know, if we had Michael Carrick available, please don't tell me you wouldn't pick Michael Carrick in front of Fred, Saeed.
No, Michael Carrick. No.
I know Michael Carrick's a better player than Matic, but he's
better than Keane anyway.
In the outside, it's still the same style. He's tall.
No. Michael Carrick
languid in his movement. Languid in his movement. Tall.
The passing range of Michael Carrick. Don't disrespect that.
You're not hearing me, son. You're not hearing me.
Son.
It's the same. I'm not saying he's as good. It's the same style. It's like Fred and McTominay. They're different in that one's shorter and one's taller, but they're similar. They run all over the field and they put fires out and they win tackles. So now Matic and Carrick are similar in the fact that they don't go running all over the field and they sit in front of the back four and take it easy, if you like. You know what I mean? Let the ball come to them.
So, but how many killer passes did Michael Carrick do? How many killer passes did he do?
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
No, but wait. Then again, you're comparing them to. I know you're comparing the two. I understand that, but what I'm trying to say to you, Michael Carrick was a different kind of player at all.
I'm literally talking about the position on the field that they take up. I'm not talking about how they pass it, how good they are. Literally talking about the position on the field that they take up and where they play. Simple as that.
Yeah, no, I see.
Do not play in that role.
Right. I don't know, man. You know what? I've got to go on to the next topic because it's quite a big one, and we already went over. As soon as I brought that Matic thing in, we've already gone over. But to be honest, though, I see what Ricky is saying. To be honest, that's why I'm thinking within this role that would need to be taken up with Bruno and Pogba playing. I just feel like we need someone who their fundamental priority is to stay and look after this. Just let me
flex. I'll just touch on that there. It's like I go to a job with my toolbox. I've forgot my Phillips screwdriver. I'll make a flathead screwdriver work that screw to undo it. You know what? When you've got a full toolbox, when you've got all the tools there, you put the right tool for the right job. That's what we're looking at right now. In terms of what you touched on with Pogba there, look at the man. It's like Flick at Bayern with Muller. Muller's been off the scene until Flick's come in. Pep Guardiola didn't know where to play Thomas Muller. He couldn't. Flick's come in and let Thomas Muller be Thomas Muller. That is Paul Pogba. Yeah. Pogba is Pogba. You cannot put him in a position and determine what he's doing. Bruno is the one. Bruno's the linchpin for everything that we do right now. Pogba is just icing. He's icing on the cake, and he will win us trophies. It's as simple as that. That's what it is. That's where you've got to go with it. Use the right tools for the job. That's as simple as that. We've been doing this for years and it's let us down. We've got to start doing it while we've got the chance.
Okay. Over 5,000 people watching live, which is again brilliant for a Sunday night. Smash a like on the video.
All the massive fans, isn't it?
As well. Exactly right. Now we've only got 20 minutes to do this bit, so you guys are gonna have to be a bit quicker than I would. That I'd like to give you. I am actually starting with you, Adam, and I know you don't find it easy.
Okay, I promise.
Too long. But so we've set a little challenge, right? There's going to be 8 players. Right, I'm going to give you all the same players, and I just want you to simply explain to us, the viewers, as well, what you would do with these players come the summer. Yeah. So we've got 20 minutes. We'll give you sort of 5 minutes each on each one, and have a 5-minute wrap up. All right. So Adam, your first player of what to do is in the summer is Chris Smalling.
Chris Smalling in the summer, all depends on. For me, there's players who need to go before Smalling. Rojo, Jones, go. Smalling stays as cover for me if he wants to. He may take it upon himself like he did this year, and all credit to him for going out and finding first-team football. I think he's going to do the same again. He's going to go elsewhere. I really do. But for me, Jones and Rojo go. Smalling is good cover.
Right. Okay. Jesse Lingard.
Me.
Yeah. I'm going to give you all 8 straight away.
All right. Yeah. See you later. Bye, J Lings. See you, MTV Cribs. You do great off the field, mate. I appreciate everything you do, charity and everything like that. But in football terms, the only reason we discussed this the other day, the only reason he's going to get in that match day squad against Spurs is because they're giving us 9 substitutions now. That's it. You don't get in the squad.
Okay, not mixing your words there. Andreas Pereira.
See you later. Move on.
Phil Jones.
Move on.
They're all in the 8 players. Okay, so Sel. Rojo.
I think I just answered that one before, mate.
Yeah.
He's trouble.
Okay, Sanchez.
Oh, that's going to be difficult. Not in discerning what we want to happen, what will happen. There were rumours that Inter might even take him on again. I'd take that right now because we're not going to be able to get rid of him until that contract's up. And right now we can't afford, probably, with the way finances are, to just get rid of him. But for me, Sanchez his time is up. It really is. He doesn't get back in that matchday squad, does he? By hook or by crook, you get rid of him. But the difficulty is in that. How do you get rid of Sanchez? You can't make that. So he is one of them that Ole doesn't want at the club. It's quite obvious that he doesn't want him there. And for me, I totally agree. He's just not going to work at Manchester United, and he hasn't. It's a shame. He was ready-made for United, in my opinion, and he failed miserably. Another South American flop.
Okay, cool. And the last 2 are quite interesting. Chong and Gomez.
Chong and Gomez, I think both. I hope Gomez, I think he has got his contract, the rumours are, Gomez.
The rumours are, yeah.
Chong has got his. Both of them players need to go out on loan next season for me. I think they're not going to get in that first team right now, but they need to develop playing first team football. They need to both go out on loan for me. I don't see any of them in the positions that they play. You could argue Chong on the right if we don't get anyone in this summer. But if we do get a Sancho in, then for me, Chong... And, you've got European football and the amount of games we're going to play next season, and we don't know of injuries. So it's hard, but going off what's happened this season, I think Chong and Gomez deserve to be sent out on loan to get game time. They're good enough to go and play in the Championship. And you know what? They'll come back better players if they do. Okay,
cool. Fair enough. Saeed, I'll come to you last. Ricky, I remember us talking early on in the season about Chris Smalling. And I remember outside Old Trafford, there's huge crowds around us when we're doing the fan cams, a lot of split decisions. And I remember there was a certain game, I can't remember what it was, but you were adamant that Chris Smalling is the same level, if not better.
I think it was Arsenal game.
The Arsenal game, yeah. And I remember Ricky saying, listen, you see what Smalling's doing at his age out there in Italy. He's killing it. He's no worse than any of the centre-halves that we have. He should be here playing. So the first player in that list, what would you do with Smalling in the summer? Bearing in mind, Roma are saying that they can't really afford him. They've got to send him back.
obviously you're asking me this question as to what I would do.
Yeah,
I mean, what Ollie's going to do is a completely different thing.
Yeah,
This is can't tell him. But what I would do is I'd build my team around him. Do you want to move on to the next one?
Okay.
Quickly, move on quickly. No, he's not.
It staggers me. It staggers me the disrespect he gets.
He's not that good, Ricky.
Hang on. Let him speak.
Most of the pundits in Italy have got him in the team of the season. In Italy, there's a lot of good defenders in Italy. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, but just before we move on to the next player, Rick, who would you partner with Chris Smalling, and who goes?
Smalling and Maguire would be our best pairing. Maguire's grown on me since the start of the season, but we sometimes play three centre backs, don't we?
Yeah,
and obviously when I find it interesting that Lindelof plays on the right, and obviously Shaw plays on the left, and Maguire plays dead central. If we had Chris Smalling, I'd probably play Smalling as a right-sided centre back, Maguire still in the middle, and Shaw on the left, and Lindelof could come in either as the left-sided or he's he can play both sides. Lindelof.
Okay.
So when we play three at the back, if we played three at the back against Spurs, City, Chelsea like we did, and it was Smalling, Maguire and Shaw, Smalling and Maguire and Shaw would end up playing for England in the European Championships together. Okay,
so you think that would be a fantastic trio?
I think it'd be a fantastic trio, yeah, I really do.
Okay, but like you said, the feeling is I think Ollie made his decision and Smalling needed to go and get football.
Yeah, he's going to go anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
What I say, you know what I mean? Doesn't matter what I say.
We'll keep it moving. Jesse Lingard, what would you do him in summer?
He needs to go somewhere, yeah. I don't know what they'd expect to get for him, but he needs to go.
Okay, so there's no future for him in your squad. Pereira.
Same as. Yeah.
Same as. Jones.
Yeah, needs to go.
Would you basically tie your team around him, have him and Smalling and Jones back in the heart?
No, shut up, Flex.
Get on. I think something that happens is you both get tired with the same brush. There were a combination. People used to say the combination was terrible. It wasn't the combination was terrible. It's one of the two players was terrible.
Okay, fair enough. Rojo?
I don't think Rojo's as bad as that, but I do think it's time for him to go, yeah.
Okay. Alexis Sanchez?
Got to go. If we can do anything with him, got to go.
Yeah. Chong and Gomez, last two.
I'll take Chong first. It depends if we do get the signings that we're expecting to get. I like Chong, and if we don't sign any more forwards, if we don't sign Sancho, then we need to keep him around. If we do get Sancho, he probably needs to go on loan somewhere. Gomez definitely needs to go on loan somewhere.
Okay, cool. So that's Ricky's verdict. Saeed, we'll finish off with yourself. So at the top of the list, we'll do it in reverse order just to mix it up a bit. What would you do with Gomez?
Gomez, for me, I'd keep him, and I'd put him in the squad. I'd put him squad player, could play Europa League. You know what I mean? I think loan, in terms of loan, if you can get the rest of the players out, that's why my decision would be in the squad, because then you're getting rid of all the rest of the two that we're going to talk about in a bit.
Premier League.
Chong, I'll put him in loan in Premier League for me. I think I reckon he could play for Aston Villa, Norwich, them kind of teams in there. I think he could do well.
Eddie Howe at Bournemouth are doing good.
Yeah,
Eddie Howe at Bournemouth.
They stay in the division.
Yeah, they both could go down. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, he's loan. Just needs to play football, because week in, week out. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Sanchez
for me got to go, but the wages are being too much. How much is he on? Like 350k a week?
Yeah.
It's too much for me. You know what I mean? He needs to go. Let's get the deadwood out. You know what I mean? I'm surprised it never worked out for me. I thought it was going to be a baller. You know what I mean? But never worked out for me. He's got to go. It doesn't fit the system, so got to go for me.
Yeah, I think it's clear Ollie's made his decision on that as well, and Sanchez has made his decision. I can't see how we could come back into our dressing room and it works with the dynamics. Rojo again, got to go for me. Injury prone, you know what I mean? Too rash. Is a kind of player that you want in your squad. You know what I mean? He's a warrior. I wish it affected on the other players, but for me, it's rash. Is you know what I mean? It's getting to a stage where it's just, you know what I mean? It concedes too many goals for us. So for me, yeah, it's got to go for me. Jones.
Jones again, mate. Say no more. So see you later, mate.
Pereira.
Pereira, mate. B-Tech Kaká, mate. See you later, mate.
Less of the B-Tech. Nothing wrong with that.
B-Tech Kaká, mate. B-Tech Kaká.
Lingard.
Lingard, if he was 22, I'd keep him, but he's 27, going 28 this year. So again, mate, he's another one that could go and create a career. If he truly wants to make a career of himself, then he should go and leave the club. That's my wholehearted message to him. He'll go find another club and play football, because Man United, we're looking for bigger and better things, man. And that's no disrespect to Lingard.
Yeah, just before we move on from that, I do want to make that clear. It's not a disrespect. I just feel like I think for Jesse's, I think for the good of his own career now at 27, I think if he wants to get football game time, I think he probably needs to move as well, because Bruno's come in. We saw what happened when Bruno come in. What happened to Lingard and Pereira's game time? It just diminished. They were coming into games against Derby or Club Brugge and stuff like that. They really, the writing was on the wall in terms of Ollie's thinking with that. And lastly, Smalling,
I don't know what Ricky's on, mate. You know what I mean? A few wines and that tonight, Ricky. But you know what I mean? For me, I don't know what Ricky's on, because I've seen the worst of Smalling, mate. I don't know if you see that pass from Brighton, mate. I'll never forget that pass against Brighton. Away from home, 0-0, yeah? If you remember the pass, yeah? He opened his body up to pass to the right-hand side. Like that, I will never forget that moment.
I remember that.
You remember that moment, Flex, innit? Like, for me, he's got to go. With that, what the problem is with our football clubs, we have affection in terms of, sentiment. I want that sentiment to go. Chris Smalling, for me, has had his chance. That's the key message, Ricky. He's had his chance to prove himself, and he's not taking it for me. So Smalling, again, another person, move on. See you later. Let's get 20 million out of him. I think it's worth between 20 and 30 million. I don't know about you guys, but I look at other clubs that are selling players for like 20, 30 million.
Make your mind up, Harry.
25 million. Sell. He's
got to go. He's no good. I remember that.
No, but Saeed, you're feeding him, Saeed. You're feeding Ricky, yeah?
Sell.
You're contradicting yourself.
Guys, actually, what about thanks to Songwriter for the contribution. What about Tuanzebe as a CDM, strong and fast too? Maybe not just the CDM. Maybe if we take that out of it, I think we're kind of all saying not as a CDM, but just Tuanzebe in general. Where does he fit into this? Does he need to go and look for some football soon, or depending if him and Eric stay and Jones, Rojo, and Smalling all depart, we're kind of as we were in the centre back position? Can you see us doing anything centre back wise this year, or do we just as we were, Adam?
No, I know people are saying that we need to go out look for a centre back. Well, we've got to deal with a 7 that we've got already before we go out and get another one. Christ, exactly. How many do you want? We've got to get rid of 3 centre backs minimum for Tuanzebe to actually come in. Axel is a defender. I'm talking about the Phillips screwdriver and the flathead again here. He's a defender. He's good on the ball. He's good on the ball. He's strong. He's built for the role. We just need to see him. This is the problem. He's not going to get the game time with all these other centre backs still at the club. We want to see what he's about. We just don't know enough. We've seen glimpses of what he can do, and he has shown character. He has shown some clever moments in that United shirt. The injury, it hampered him, but for me, he's not a midfielder. I know he's good on the ball, but for me, he's a good defender. He really is. I keep him in the squad. I keep him in the squad for next season. Hopefully, we get rid of the others, though.
Ricky, you wanted to come in now on something Adam was saying?
Yeah. When he just said, I agree with his point now. Before we sign another centre back, we need to get rid of a couple. He mentioned the figure 7, and I didn't really count them up off the top of my head. But you probably didn't count Luke Shaw as a centre back, did you?
No, I wasn't. I know where you're going with that, Ricky. It's only you who bring that to me.
People talk about centre back this, centre back the other. Whenever we play 3 centre backs, make no mistake, Luke Shaw plays as a centre back.
Yeah, when he plays left centre back, he's been playing very well, almost like
he probably played his best game.
Bailey sat on the bench.
But is that Ollie though? I don't know if any other manager would play short centre back.
Well, Saeed touched on sentimentality there. All rolls into one. We have to get rid of the sentimentality. The players who we sort of been there a while. It's time to be a bit cutthroat with what we've got. We have to say, look, thank you. There's no way I'm letting Phil Jones get a testimonial at Manchester United. It's embarrassing to the people who've had them. Seriously, man, he has to go, number 1. And like I said, 7, classed 8. If you bring Shaw in, like Ricky says there's a lot of work to do. And it's a worry because are we going to use that as an excuse with what's going on right now? And when next season starts and this season finishes, you know what? It's going to be an interesting summer. It really is. But there's an awful lot of work to do at the back for United. Even though we're all right playing wise, we've got a lot of crap though.
Bedri Lewis, thanks for the contribution. And this will be the last one, guys. You guys can see it there in the box. Does Eric Bailly still have potential? Saeed?
Potential, mate. He's 25, mate. You know what I mean? It's potential. I don't know, man. I said it's an unpopular opinion, man. I said to myself, you know what I mean? If next season, if he doesn't start pulling his weight, and you know what I mean, in case of the injury starts still topping it up, I think it's time to cash in, mate. I really am. I've got to the point where I've had enough of just sentiment, man. I'm like, stay there for the value and the fact that we can't. Man United are built on saving money, and that's what the Glazers want to do, and that's what it stems from the Glazers, and then it reaches into the fans, and then they say, "Oh, Lingard, he can stay. It's part of the culture. It's part of Manchester." No, mate, we've got to sell him. But Bailly, if he doesn't stay fit next season and he doesn't prove himself, because again, that like Ricky says, that maybe there's a reason why he can't play 2 games a week. I don't know. Like that game against Man City, I think it was at Chelsea away. I think we didn't play him, and I was like, "What's going on?" Like he played that game, but then he didn't play the next game.
Yeah.
And I was like,
or is that Solskjaer just going? I tell you what, I don't want to upset the apple cart. I've made Lindelof my #1 centre back alongside Maguire, so that's just what it's going to be.
Yeah, Lindelof was injured for that Chelsea game. That's the only reason Bailly came in. I think. I'm sure Lindelof was injured.
What does that say? What does that say? Then?
Almost, it might be a section. I know we've got this thing with Bailly of can he stay fit, which absolutely is true because what we've seen from him, he does get a lot of injuries. But also, he's got to contend with whether Ollie's just kind of gone. You're just never going to be my #1, really.
Yeah.
He's
not reliable. It's not reliable.
And actually, we'll bring in one more player. Actually, it was Delot. I mean,
sell him, mate. Sell him.
What are you done with him, Saeed? Already?
Yeah, I'm done with him, mate. I'm surprised we paid 20 million for him, mate. So we got to rob 20 million. I'm telling you that he can't defend and he can't attack. He can't defend. The only thing he can do, the only hope I've got for him is that Man United, if we almost have a position where we can play forward, then he might have a future there. But I don't want to see him play right back ever again, mate. That game against Newcastle, that was for me the day I've lost hope in Delon, mate. He got twisted outside.
Mate, you lost a lot of everything in that game.
You lost hope of Rashford in that game. You lost.
No. Rashford. Nah, Delon, mate. I want the receipt, mate. That game, mate. I don't know what it is with him, but he can't defend. And when you can't defend as a right back, then I'm sorry. 20 million. 20 million is a lot of money for a white back that's 20 years old. When he came to the club, he was 19.
Which game are you on about?
Newcastle.
When they beat us 1-0.
Yeah. End of the world day, yeah.
That's when you went in on
I'll watch it again tomorrow and tell you what I think.
Well, come on then. You'll see
it again tomorrow.
I'll
tell you the game we did play in. I'll tell you the big game we did play in, and I'm not bigging him up. I just know it because you come on after half an hour against PSG.
Brilliant. He's brilliant.
You know what I mean? So
he's brilliant.
Yeah, the big issue there.
I think it was 2-1 at the stage that he came on.
It was
an hour and we didn't let a goal in. It can't be that bad.
I remember
in
that game. I remember we started. I think we had Eric Bailly was out there because I think we had the free. And what was happening is I remember because it was right in front of us where we sit in the away bit in PSG, and you could see it by the corner flag because what was happening is that Di Maria. And I think it was their left back kept occupying that space, and Bailly didn't know what was going on. And I actually remember applauding Ollie for going, look, he's seen that because we had to change that early, and he did come on and have a really good game. And I remember another game he done really well in, which was Crystal Palace away last year, and he came off the bench. It was when Matic scored that goal in the last minute. No, it wasn't. That one. That was in the grey kit.
Lukaku.
I'll tell you what happened. Delot came on, and Ashley Young, I think, went to right wing back, and then Ashley Young ended up scoring. That's what happened.
The winner.
And he scored the winner.
The problem we've got there is Flex. You nailed it there, Flex. The problem we've got with the Bailly and Darlow, the last two players you mentioned there, and Mark picked up on it as well. We bought both of them injured, and they've had injuries ever since. There's got to be some issue and logic in that there at all. But to buy players injured and then for them to never be fully fit for a season, that's a red flag for me. Just on that alone.
I hear you, guys. It's been a great show. Just an hour, just short of an hour on the dot, which is perfect timing. Adam summed it up perfectly there. Right on cue. Didn't go over talking too long. Look at that, Adam. You're a changed man.
Wait till the fan cam start, mate.
Yeah. So, guys, thanks for joining us. Rick, Adam, Saeed, been great.
Thank you.
Brilliant stuff.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, you did all right, mate.
Bye-bye.
Kick Mark off. I mean, guys, thanks for watching. Smash a like on the video. Make sure you share as well. Thanks for all your comments and your contributions. And we will see you guys very, very soon. Peace.